Buongiorno a tutti, vi ringrazio intanto di aver partecipato a questo webinar. Nel corso del webinar che sarà fatto in inglese da parte di Infortrend, se avete dei dubbi, delle domande o necessità di chiarimenti, potete interrompere, scrivere in chat e vi supportiamo poi noi nel caso di problemi con la lingua. Io faccio una breve introduzione su Attiva Evolution. Io sono Daniele Urbanelli, brand manager e business developer per Attiva Evolution. Seguo tutti i prodotti inerenti alla parte di data protection e data storage, quindi tra cui anche Infortrend. Attiva nasce, faccio una breve intro su chi è Attiva per chi non ci conoscesse. Attiva nasce nel 1996 come distributore Apple, poi nel corso degli anni ha ampliato il proprio portafoglio di soluzioni, sempre inerenti, diciamo, al mondo Apple, quindi a corredo poi del mondo Apple, quindi ad esempio la SI, Wacom, Eizo, piuttosto che altri brand di questo tipo. Nel 2016 nasce Attiva Evolution, che è la business unit a valore di Attiva SPA, quindi dedicata ai partner di canale, system integrator, VAR, reseller. Ci proponiamo sul mercato come partner di riferimento per principalmente 4 ambiti tecnologici, quindi cyber security, storage backup e data protection, networking e wireless, infrastruttura e unified communication e collaboration. Siamo ovviamente uno degli ultimi distributori nati sul mercato italiano per quanto riguarda la parte VAD, ma nel corso di questi 6 anni abbiamo comunque raggiunto un livello di soddisfazione per i nostri clienti molto elevato. Questo anche grazie chiaramente a tutta la parte logistica e finanziaria che possiamo utilizzare, di cui beneficiamo da parte di Attiva. Cosa facciamo? Come ho già detto, ci rivolgiamo principalmente al canale dei partner e lo facciamo cercando di andare anche a fare scouting di nuovi brand e nuove soluzioni che vogliono approcciare il mercato italiano, che come nell'ultimo anno stiamo facendo e faremo, a breve annunceremo anche dei nuovi accordi di distribuzione. Stiamo anche puntando su soluzione made in Italy, perché comunque riteniamo che le competenze e la professionalità che abbiamo anche in Italia non sono da meno rispetto ad altri vendor, per esempio americani, piuttosto che di altre nazioni. Come supportiamo i nostri partner? Sia a livello di prevendita e post vendita, abbiamo persone dedicate in base ai vendor distribuiti che possono supportare i nostri clienti sia a livello di prevendita che di post vendita, in alcuni casi anche affiancando i clienti sugli utenti finali, questo anche grazie chiaramente alla sinergia con il vendor. Facciamo formazione continua, quindi sia virtuale che in-house. Purtroppo nell'ultimo periodo, a causa della pandemia, negli ultimi 2 anni è stato più virtuale che in-house. Da poco abbiamo ricominciato a organizzare anche degli eventi in presenza. Sono sia degli eventi commerciali che anche degli eventi più prettamente tecnici, quindi dei training on the job su alcune delle soluzioni che distribuiamo. Attiva Evolution ad oggi si compone di un team di 13 persone, di cui 5 commerciali, 3 di prevendita e brand management, 2 di post vendita e le altre, diciamo, di operation. La divisione si divide in 4 pillar, dove per ogni pillar abbiamo diversi brand più o meno leader nel proprio ambito tecnologico, che sono appunto la data protection e compliance, quindi tutto quello che riguarda la cyber security, per capirci, data storage e recovery, dove c'è appunto anche Infortrend, la data infrastructure e business continuity, e la communication e collaboration. Se volete verificare quali sono i vendor, i brand da noi distribuiti, potete fare riferimento al sito www.attivaevolution.com, che è un sito dedicato di Attiva Evolution, dove appunto pubblichiamo anche news, comunicati, piuttosto che altre notizie inerenti alle tematiche di questi 4 pillar e i nostri vendor. L'agenda di oggi prevede, come ho detto all'inizio, una breve introduzione su chi è Infortrend, che verrà fatta dal sales manager EMEA Victor, mentre invece poi seguirà la parte più prevendita e tecnica, dove verranno presentate le soluzioni di backup possibili con Infortrend, quindi sia la parte di integrazione con Vim piuttosto che con Commvault o Veritas, i cui storage Infortrend sono certificati. Nello specifico vedremo principalmente Vim, anche un video che è stato fatto sulla parte di backup immutabili, ma verranno poi presentate anche le soluzioni di backup native di Infortrend, perché comunque Infortrend permette anche di fare delle snapshot piuttosto che delle repliche nativamente. E una cosa molto interessante, vedremo anche le nuove funzionalità scale out implementate sulla serie di prodotti GS e GSE. Infortrend ha anche una soluzione di Unified Storage Scale Out, che è la famiglia CS, che è quindi scalabile fino a 140 nodi, se non sbaglio, e ha portato alcune di queste feature anche sulla fascia GS e GSE per approcciare il mercato della piccola e media impresa. Alla fine della presentazione, se avete domande, ci sarà comunque spazio per un Q&A che potete fare. A questo punto io vi ringrazio, spero che gli argomenti che andremo a vedere siano di vostro interesse. Se poi volete approfondire in separata sede alcune delle soluzioni, è possibile farlo. Vi ricordo che tra l'altro Infortrend e anche Attiva in questo caso supportano i propri partner, dando la possibilità anche di avere su richiesta delle unità demo popolate per fare delle POC anche su clienti. Victor, you can start.
Thank you very much for your introduction. Let me share my screen. Okay, good. Right, so good morning, everyone. And thanks to Attiva to help arranging this webinar. It's very, very nice to meet you all in this webinar. And that is me in the picture, me holding 2 awards from Storage Award ceremony. It is my honor because it's not easy to receive 2 awards in the same ceremony. There's only 2 vendors in that ceremony that receives 2 awards, and one of them is us. So I'm very honored to be able to receive those 2 awards in that ceremony. So I am Victor. I'm the general manager for Infortrend Europe Limited, and I oversee the whole European operation from our office here in UK, Basingstoke. So just a little bit about Infortrend. we are a pure data storage vendor. We only focus on data storage. That is all we do. That is very important because in this category, I would say that we are the most financially stable company. We're not looking to sell a company. We've been in the market since 1993, so almost 30 years now. So we are a long-standing data storage vendor and very financially stable. Worldwide, we have more than 800 plus employees, and half of them is in the R&D, so software and hardware development, meaning that we have 100% control of the quality of our products. If you talk about software, we develop the software ourselves. If you talk about the hardware, we design the hardware ourselves. So anything, any issue with Infortrend products, we can assist in solving the issue. We have 6 locations worldwide. Your office in USA, UK, Germany, China, Japan, and of course our headquarters in Taiwan. In UK, we've been trading for 23 years now. We've established, we've set up the office here in UK in 2000, so almost 23 years now, and we've sold over 1 million rack mounts worldwide. And that is our office here in UK. 2 floors. The ground floor is a warehouse which we stock army parts for fast delivery and fast response for our customers, for our channel partners, for the end users. Office on the first floor, top floor, with 14 staffs, from sales to pre-sales to post-sales, marketing, logistics, etc. It's not a huge operation here, but it's big enough to support our channel partners in Europe. So the unique position of us as a pure data storage vendor from Asia and from Taiwan is that we have an office in UK. We understand with the broad range of products that we have, it is not easy for our channel partners to confidently propose our products. So we are making the journey for our customers, for our channel partners, easy and effortless for them to propose our solution. So everything starts with a deal registration through Attiva, who we work very closely with. Once we have received the deal registration, we look at the information, we discuss with you. If possible, we like to have a call, have a meeting with the channel partners and end users together so that we can understand the projects. So we stay close to the projects. After that, then we can provide a suitable configuration to you. Then you can propose that configuration to your customer. If it's necessary, we can do a remote demo session, or we can send out evaluation units, kits, to your customer for evaluation. So that is the whole pre-sales, pre-invoice cycle. After sales, post-invoice, what we can do extra is we can also log in remotely to help remote configuration of our products in the end user environment, because we understand what the project is about, and that is why we can provide that suitable configuration, therefore provide remote configuration to help the customers, to help the end users to take full advantage of our products. And lastly, because of our operation here in UK, we have localized support. There's only 1 hour time difference between UK and Italy. So what is in it for our channel partners? First of all, again, deal registration gives you the project protection. And everything starts from a deal registration. So if you have a project, remember to do a deal registration through Attiva. We will look at those information. If it's unique to you, we will block that from other registration. Access to remote UI demonstration, not just for your customers, but also we can do that remote UI demonstration session and technical training to you. Incentive depending on your customer, depending on your company's policy, we can do incentive to your company or to the salesperson. Again, UK-based sales and technical team for any support issues. And we do have an RMA warehouse in Germany, but on-site service is required. So these are the three main product families. I'm just going to quickly touch on the three main groups. The bread and butter of Infortrend is the Eonstore DS, which is the block storage, our enterprise level block SAN storage. And over the years, we have also developed our own Eonstore GS, which the position is on-prem or hybrid cloud unified storage. And on our very top level, we have high performance scale out and scale up NAS solution, which is the Eonstore CS. So those are the three main product families from Infortrend. Eric, who is our pre-sales engineer based in Taiwan, he will be talking today about the Eonstore GS and how our Eonstore GS can integrate into the backup environment. And so this is our view of the market. On the bottom, you'll see the different market verticals. And vertically, those is how we view the market and how much capacity and performance they usually requires. So those are the market verticals that we are very suitable in. Any projects in those market verticals, feel free to bring those opportunity through Attiva to us. And we'll be happy to speak to you about that, talk to you about that, have a meeting with your customer about it. And this is how we position ourselves in the market. We are in the enterprise level storage business. We overlap with Dell EMC, with the tier 1 brands in the market, but also because of our strength, because of our software strength and the hardware strength, because we own those technologies, we are also bringing and reaching down our product range to the top level of the SMB market. So this is how we see our market. This is how we position ourselves in the market. And lastly, my last slide is to just show you a bit of who our customers are. You can see that in Italy, we work with ENEA, INFN, olive oil company, radio broadcasting company, IRBM, and CERN, etc. So we're not a random company coming from Taiwan or Asia. We've been in the market for a while now, and we'll continue to develop and enhance ourselves and provide the suitable storage product for our customers. So that's me, and let me pass on the presentation to Eric.
And thank you, Victor, for your introduction on Infortrend. And let me share my screen. Okay, so this is Eric from Infortrend Taiwan, and today I'm going to introduce some of the backup solutions that we Infortrend can do with our products called Eonstore GS. And so let's begin. So for the backup solutions overview, we have different approaches that we can do the backup scenario. And we can do it by using some backup softwares with our GS, or we can use some of the features provided from GS, such as the local backup feature, remote backup feature, or some cloud backup features. And all these different methods can be used based on different scenarios from tier 1 to tier 3 that we can use different backup method depending on which scenario that we are facing. And so let me introduce this tier 1 to tier 3 more in detail. So for tier 1, we refers to the mission critical backup needs, which we would like the RTO or RPO, which we can think of as recovery time to be less than 15 minutes. And this will be commonly seen in applications such as database, surveillance, especially government surveillance, and some of the VDI appliance. And this is because that with database or surveillance, we couldn't afford to lose any of the data. So we will really want the recovery time to be less than 15 minutes. And for this tier 2, and this we can refer to as some business critical backup needs, which we would like it to be recovered not immediately, but soon enough, so then we can continue to that the business being running. And this could be commonly seen in the other part of the VDI application and some of the mail exchange or other applications. And for tier 3, which is the non-critical backup method, the backup applications, we will like it to be recovered, but we didn't really have any time limitations for this kind of backup scenarios. And this can be seen on any other applications that we have not mentioned in the tier 1 and tier 2 backup scenarios. So to explain some of the backup solutions, for the first one, it will be the backup plan on block storage. So for this backup scenario, we will have 2 different storages, which you can see in the picture. So that the storage on the left-hand side is the production storage. This could be used on for our application server and for all the services being running on. So typically, we will have maybe some virtual machines and some applications being running on this storage. And the second storage we will be used as the backup storage, which we can choose to integrate with some of the backup servers such as VM Veritas or Common Vault. So a scenario can look like, so for this production storage, we would like the data being backed up to somewhere else, which in the picture will be backed up to the backup storage via the service provided from VM, Veritas, or Common Vault. So what we can do is that for the backup server, we might have to install some of the agents. And for example, for VM, we will have to install the practice server on the application server side, so that the server knows, so that the whole backup plan knows where the things can be backed up to. And finally, when the VMs or when all the data have been backed up to the backup storage, and because this is on block level, so the volumes will be backed up to the backup storage. And after this is done, we can also choose to back up this data from this EM Cloud Gateway to the cloud. And with this function, we can support some of the common cloud services such as Microsoft Azure, Amazon S3, and etc. So overall, this could be the backup plan and backup flow that we can use on block storage. And for file storage, the picture also looks the same. We will have a production storage, and we will back up all the data to the backup storage via Veritas, VM, or Common Vault. But what's different is that in this scenario, we will be backing up shared folders to our backup storage. And also similarly, we can also use this EM Cloud Gateway to back up all the data to clouds, to Amazon S3 or Azure or the cloud services. Okay, and this is the scenario if we're trying to back up data from this object storage. And this is also similar, except that we are trying to back up the data to the object storage. And what is special about object storage is that we can support this backup to be immutable, which means that within a certain amount of time, this this data which is being backed up could not be modified even by administrators. So this will be the backup flow if we're trying to do the backup on object storage. Okay, and for the features provided, for the backup feature provided from our Eon Storage JS, the first we would like to introduce is the local backup feature. And this could be achieved by, the first one is snapshot, and the second one will be local replication. And for snapshot, it is basically take a picture of the system which in this certain point of time, so that we can have the exact copy of data locally on our appliance. So this can be done by making up schedules. And what's special about this feature is that if unfortunately the data, the services failed, we can roll back the image for disaster recovery, so that we can make sure we always have the data at this point of time. And for local replication, we can do this by copying the exact data in volumes from A to B volumes locally. So this can also be done by synchronously or asynchronously. And what's special about this local replication is that we can have this very low RTO or RPO backups if we're doing this synchronous mode. And because we are copying the data, we have the exact data in the system. So if unfortunately the services breaks down, we can just rearrange the data to the backed up volume, so that we can keep the service running, because we have all the data in locally. Okay. And if we would like to back up our data to somewhere else, not in this appliance, then we can call this a remote backup. And this could be achieved on block level, which we will call it a volume remote replication, or on file level, and we will call it as a folder remote replication, and it's via rsync. So for the remote replication, similarly, we can have the synchronous mode and asynchronous mode. But what's different from the local is that we will back up all the data, we will back up all the volumes to a second or another appliance somewhere else. And with the synchronous mode, we can still achieve this very low RTO or RPO backup needs, because we have the identical data there in the system, but even if it's somewhere else. And for this folder remote replication, it's done by the protocol called rsync. And with this, we will be copying all the data in the share folder to another share folder located somewhere else. And with this feature, we can also duplicate the access control list, which is called ACL, of the files. So then we don't have to set all the ACLs once again after backing up all the data. Okay. And the last backup solutions we can have is the cloud backup scenario. And this cloud backup scenario can be done by this Eon Cloud Gateway, which can be used to integrate our Eon Storage JS with with some cloud services that we just mentioned. And this cloud backup scenario can support both block and file level. And the integration is pretty easy. We wouldn't even need to change any of the settings on the existing IT environment. So, and we can support some of the very popular cloud storage services, such as Amazon S3, Azure, OpenStack Swift, etc. And also with this cloud backup feature, we can also use this deduplication and compression feature, so that we can save some of the bandwidth, and also we can save some of the capacities on our destination site. Okay, so this will be all of the backup solutions, and we can all of the backup solutions. And now it's time for us to dig into our Aeon Store GS and to introduce what is Aeon Store GS. So our Aeon Store GS is an enterprise level unified storage that we can provide a SAN and NAS storage in it. And we can provide redundant controller design so to ensure high availability and also improves the performance if we would like to make use of both of the controllers. And also we can support multiple RAID level protections, and we can support up to petabyte level storage. And it can be suitable for various applications, and it can be surely supported on this backup scenario that we are talking about today. So the graph, the picture on the right-hand side shows the basic scenario of how we can achieve a backup solutions with our Aeon Store GS. So basically, the components will be, we will have the application server, which is the VM data store storage on the bottom left of this picture. This is the storage for all the applications, and we will have some services located on it, which is the virtualization server, or it's just server, which is located on the top left corner of this picture. And so if we're trying to do backups, we will have this backup storage, and possibly we will have this backup server that can help us do all the backup storage solutions. And last, we will surely, with all the picture, we will surely have some users or clients that is using the whole system. Okay, and our Aeon Store GS is being proven as Vim ready, so we can support the backup software Vim on our GS without complicated settings. And also, if you are also interested to know, our Aeon Store DS and CS are also being recognized as Vim ready. So we are always welcome to use Vim as the backup solutions or as the integration method. Okay, and this GS scale out feature, which is just recently released, can be used with this backup. With the backup solutions. So GS scale out feature can be used whenever we would like to join multiple GSs into one single system, which in other words, we would like to see all of the data joined together, even if they are on different appliances. And so this could be really useful in these backup solutions. So to say that if the scenario is in the future, we will anticipate that we will have some data growth in our environment, but we will not, we don't want to buy all the capacities. We don't want to buy like 4 GSs at the beginning. We can start from small. We can start from small, or we can start from one single unit. And then if we have, if we need more data, we need more capacities in the future, we can just add another node and then join them together with this scale feature. So for this single, so if we would like to start from small ones, we can refer to this picture. This is the scale feature being used on a single appliance. So basically, we will have this backup server, and then we will have this backup folder. This backup folder will be the entry point of the GS scale out folder structure. And under this backup folder, we can have this backup 1 folder. This will be created in advance because because we anticipate that in the future we may add more appliances into this cluster. So we may want to categorize by a different backup folders. So this is why we have this backup folder, backup 1 folder in the middle. And then under the backup 1 folder, we can have project 1, 2, 3 folders. This could be named according to our habits or according to our needs. And all these folders, or we can say all these data, are being stored on this single GS appliance, which is the GS 2000 in the picture. Okay, and so as the data expand, or as we have more data, we may want to add another GS into the cluster because we will want to have more capacities. So the environment can look like this. We can still have this backup folder as the single entry point for our cluster. And underneath this backup folder, we can have backup 1 and backup 2, which is being assigned separately to one GS and to another GS. But in the end, and under this backup 1 and backup 2, we can have different data that we put in. But in the end, we can still see every data from project 1 to project 23, even if they are located differently on different GS appliances. So this could be the backup solutions that we can make use of the GS scale-out feature. Okay. So after all the introduction of the backup solutions and the GS scale-out feature, what's special about our EonStore GS is that we provide these 4 key benefits. The first one will be is that GS is a unified storage and with high availability, and we can be really flexible to use or to set in, and it's very easy to manage our GS and EonStore GS systems. So to explain why we are unified storage, that this is because that we have SAN and NAS solutions unified in one single EonStore GS. And additionally, we also provide this cloud gateway feature that we can integrate our EonStore GS with cloud solutions that we just introduced earlier. And our EonStore can provide a very high availability by providing the redundancies on all our key components. So if unfortunately one key components like fans or like powers or even controllers failed, we always have a spare part in this one appliance so that we can ensure that the services can keep running. And also, because we have this modular design, in this case, if any of the components failed, we can just simply take it out and replace it with a new one, so that we can recover the system to where it could to the part that it can run normally. And also, our GS can be really flexible in a way that we can choose different host boards, or we can choose different protocols that we would like to use. So in our GS, we can easily choose between fibers or iSCSIs to use, and we can provide different protocols like 8 giga or 16 giga fiber, or we can provide 10, 25, and 40 gigabits iSCSI protocols. And if we would really like to mix fiber and iSCSI into one single system, we can also do that by applying 2 different host boards on one single controller, so that we can have a mix of fiber and iSCSI protocols. And also, we can be very flexible on expansion selections, because we have these JBots from 12 base and to 60 base. So for users, they can just choose different base numbers according to their capacity needs. And finally, our GS is really easy to manage because we provide a web-based GUI interface that we can do some capacity performance monitoring, or we can do some configurations or settings just via this web-based GUI. So we can basically keep an eye on the system, or we can try to set up volumes or things just via this web-based GUI. And we also provide this initial setup wizard, which has a step-by-step instructions for users that is not really familiar with our GS. So overall, the experience of using this GS should be really easy and breezy. Okay, so after all these introductions about our backup solutions and about our EonStore GS, we here have a demonstration clip that is about the Infortrend immutable object storage solutions and the integration with Vim. Okay, so let's have a little look about the video. So let's begin. Okay, so this will be the web GUI interface that I just mentioned on the previous slide. So we can see that everything here is very visualized and is very easy to find if you would like to do some certain task. So now with this GUI, we would like to show that So we would like to show that we have already set up some of the volumes that we are ready to provide it to Vim for connections. Okay. And so after checking that we have provided the volumes for Vim to connect, we will also like to check how we can provide the link to Vim and to Vim for its connections. So here from this channel list, we can see that we have provided different IPs, such as the 75 with channel 0 and with 2 for channel 1, and for this IP and with 3 with channel 2. So in here we can make sure that we provide connections from our Infortrend to Vim. Okay. And after checking all the connections, we can also check what we have created for us to connect to Vim. So here for different volumes, we have created different folders called different buckets called bucket full and bucket version. These are the buckets created for Vim to connect from on the object storage level. Okay, and let's continue. So here under this bucket full, we can also see the data that we created under these buckets. Okay, so now if we go to Vim, now we will go to Vim to see what we can do with Vim and with all the integrations. So let's log into Vim. Okay, so initially, if we would like to establish the backup solutions, we will have to firstly create a repository for Vims locally on the storage. So this is why we will have this backup repository 1, 2, 3. This will be the repository locally stored for Vim. And if we see the S3 compatible buckets, these are the buckets that created from our Infortrend and provided to this Vim. Okay, so if we can see these 3 buckets underneath, the Minio2, SR Minio, and SR test, these are all the buckets provided from GS. And if we click on the properties, we can see that these buckets are from the service point of 0.75, which is also the service point for our Infortrend. So with this picture, we can guarantee that these are the buckets provided from our GS. Okay, and let's continue to see the properties from these buckets. If we go to next, we will see more of the properties, and this bucket is called bucket full. And here, the important point is that because we would like all the data to be immutable, we can set it on this bucket level. So for here, the checked box we can make the data to be immutable for the days that we set it to be. So for example, for this bucket full, we will set it to be immutable for 30 days. Okay, so if we take a look at the different buckets created, this SR Minio also comes from the 75, and we also would like to set it for immutable for 30 days. And if we take a look at the last Minio 2, this is also from 75, and this we will set differently for immutable for 10 days. Okay, so after creating a local repository for Vim, And after we have the buckets from our ASOGS, we will want to link each of the buckets and repository so that we will know what kind of backup data will be will be backed up to what buckets. So this is why we're going to take a look at the scale of repository to make sure that all the pairs are being created correctly. So from here, we can see that this pair is backup repository and the bucket called srminio. Okay. And the second pair will be repository 2 with minio2. And the third repository will be this. So after created this scale of repository, we can make sure that all of the backup jobs created on different repository will have a place to be stored on, will have the bucket to be stored on. Okay, so after checking all the things, now we are going to see what are the backup jobs that we have in our Vim, under our Vim. Okay, so but in this example, we're not going to create backup jobs because it could take quite some time. So here, this 2019 was the backup job that was created 2 days before this video was recorded. So which typically means that it should be within the immutable days in any of the bucket that we just set. So for this backup job, if we try to delete this backup job, ideally this shouldn't be deleted because we have set it to be immutable. So let's see if we click on this delete from disk, and we can see that if it could be deleted normally. Okay, so here we can see some of the error message from the from if we're trying to remove all the these backup jobs, and if we see the reasons, that we can see this line called that failed to delete the backup error, and this is because that unable to delete backup in this capacity tier because it is immutable until the 2nd of May, which is the 10 days after the job has been created. So from this image, it is very clear that for the backup job created, it could not be deleted because we have set it to be immutable. And this also applied for even for administrators if they would try to delete this backup job. Okay, so this will be it for the video, and this is about the Infortrend JS with the immutable backup solution, immutable backup storage solutions and integrations with Vim. Oh, sorry. And this will be all the presentations from me today.
Thank you very much, Eric. I just like to mention one thing. We are achieving this immutability through object lock feature. So we have tested with Vim, which works perfectly fine. We can also work with other backup software as long as they support object lock feature to achieve immutability. And this feature will be released in mid to end of July. So this is an early preview so that you can understand what this immutability is about. So yeah, that's something that I just want to mention during the presentation. Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Eric. I speak in Italian for us.
Yes,
There are some questions. Sì, se avete domande da fare potete scriverle in chat. Ho visto prima forse Alessandro Federici che aveva una domanda da fare, ha alzato la mano. Comunque se poi volete approfondire, come ha detto Victor, queste funzionalità sono una preview, verranno rilasciate verso metà luglio. E se poi diciamo avete o volete approfondire maggiori dettagli, possiamo comunque fissare delle call one-to-one con Infortrend. Poi no question. Ok, vedo che non ci sono domande. So thanks to all, thanks to you, Victor and Eric, and thank you again.
Thank you very much, Daniele, for arranging this webinar, and thank you everyone for joining this webinar.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay. I'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, see
Bye.
you. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Bye.